99X in the Morning X, Barnes and Leslie. Fram, wanted to bring something up after seeing the big, triumphant return of No Doubt at Coachella.
That was great, yeah.
And, I started thinking about Return of Saturn, their record.
Yeah, that album title, Return, yes.
Right, and which I've said no less than 500 times in my life. And then I started seeing all this other Saturn stuff and all these Saturn references.
It's crazy. It's out there.
I mean, everywhere.
It is. It's like, well, first of all, there's on the new Ariana Grande album, there's a track called Saturn Returns Interlude. Then on the new Casey album, Casey Musgraves, her song Deeper Well, there's a line in there, My Saturn Has Returned. And then SZA released a single last month called Saturn. This is crazy. And then I even looked back, Adele referenced struggling during her own Saturn return on her album 30.
This is a classic case of how you could be clueless about a whole subculture, because I've said that word, so many times in references to music or whatever.
Yes.
Had no clue that it meant something beyond just the surface of seeing, Return of Saturn. I'm like, oh, okay, great. Saturn's coming back.
I would like to know the explanation because I've never looked into it either.
Well, Leslie, it's time for a cosmic weather report. I would like to introduce you to Rebecca Suella. She is a tarot reader, and she's over at Modern Mystic Shop, and she's a practicing astrologer. And who knew that this actually meant something? Good morning, Rebecca.
Hi.
Good morning. Hi.
Now, don't hate on us because we're clueless like that, but what is the big deal with Saturn and the return of it?
Well, we want to think of astrology kind of as a symbolic language for understanding different characters and qualities and capacities that we all have. So regardless of whether you're a Taurus or an Aries or whatever, that's your sun sign. But the sun is just one of the players in our inner and cosmic reflection of our inner world. So Saturn holds this space as kind of the tough teacher, the taskmaster of the zodiac pantheon, if you will. So when we're talking about a Saturn return, it's an individual transit, meaning when a particular planet returns to the point in the sky that it was at your birth, from the perspective of your birth. And because Saturn is way out there, it takes a long time. So our first Saturn return happens around our late 20s, depending on, exactly where it was in its orbit when you were born. It might be a little earlier, a little later, but usually around 27 to 29, we get this tough taskmaster coming back to check in on us. So it's sort of a testing of the growing up that we've done up to that point.
Okay, Leslie, Rebecca, do you guys see the emptiness in my eyes?
Oh, I'm hearing crickets in your brain.
I mean, my brain is yelling at me.
Yes.
Are you for real? So when, like, Gwen Stefani's talking about Return of Saturn and naming the album, I'm assuming that was in her, 20s-ish. So she's attached to that.
Her late 20s specifically. Yeah. I would bet, I don't have all their charts in front of me, but I would bet that you would notice a pattern that when these artists are referencing this, it is probably right around the transition from the 20s into the 30s. And as we all experience this, whether we use this language or not, it's a kind of threshold or a funnel of growing up.
Okay, she was 29. I just looked it up. She was 29 when...
Barnes, It takes Saturn about 29 years to make a full lap through all 12 zodiac signs and then return to that same position it was in at your birth.
That's exactly it.
If that helps you at all.
Well, what happens when you come back around again? So that would be in your 50s.
Yes. You have a second Saturn return that tests your passage from adulthood, young adulthood.
This is heavy.
Into maturity. You know what, Leslie? Heavy is one of the key words of Saturn. So you are spot the heck on.
I would like you to explain another phenomenon that I get all the time from my friends. Mercury in retrograde is a thing.
Yes. It is. It is very much a thing. So in the same way that Saturn takes a long time to move, Mercury is very close to us. And so it zips all around and it will appear to kind of lap us in the sky from our perspective. And when that happens, in more, kind of grounded scientific terms, this is called a parallax effect. And it means that from our perspective, there's an optical illusion making it seem that Mercury is going backward through the sky for a time, usually a few weeks and usually a few times a year. So Mercury as a symbol represents communication, thinking, and the mind. And when it goes retrograde, this is an invitation to slow down, to look inward, and to review instead of trying to push forward. So it's like a periodic review and inventory of our thinking, our conversations, our communication.
Yeah, Barnes, when you're having a bad day, just blame it on Mercury in retrograde.
I know, and I want to buy in to all this cosmic weather report stuff. We're speaking with Rebecca Suella. She's a tarot reader, among other things, at Modern Mystic Shop. And are there people who base like major life decisions on where their whatever is whatever?
There absolutely are.
So you have a map, like you have your own little road map.
Yes, a map. And I love the phrase that you use, cosmic weather report. It's like that in the sense that we're not causally belabored by all of this. It doesn't mean we give up our agency, but it's the difference between knowing it's going to rain and bringing an umbrella, or having no clue and just being like, oh man, it's raining. You're dealing with it in some sense either way. But rather than looking at the stars for causality, I invite people to look at them for context that can inform your own empowered choices.
I have a question to ask you about as far as astrology, because I know so many people that, actually look at that on a daily basis. Do you have people that come and see you frequently, like maybe once a month, to talk to you about their life because you're a practicing astrologer?
I do to some degree. Now, I'm not a consulting astrologer, so I don't presently take clients for astrology specifically. But as a tarot reader, I do have some folks who will check in on a periodic basis. So usually we're looking at I have a lot of folks who I see on their birthday every year. I have a lot of folks who I see at the turns of the seasons. But I am sensitive that if you're coming to me every week, you're trying to put something on me that I'm not interested in holding.
Yeah, well, you have a very attractive energy to you. You definitely are in the right space.
Well, thank you.
You have this calming way you speak, and you roll it all out. You're not stressed out. It must be you're in the good. Your Saturn's already back and everything's good. I guess.
It's true. It's true. Well, Saturn is friendly to me right now.
I'm leaving this conversation exactly the same place I was when I came in. I have no effing idea what this is about, but sounds interesting.
That is all right by me.
All right. Thank you very much, Rebecca.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Thanks a lot, y'all.
Where can people meet you or find you or whatever if they want to get a tarot read?
You can find me at Modern Mystic Shop in Ponce City Market. And if you go to modernmystictarot.com, you'll be able to find my name, Rebecca. Click on that. It'll show you all of my availability. But I do in-person readings every other Sunday, and I'm available virtually every Friday evening.
So let's see how good you are to end it all. What band am I about to play right now?
Oh.
I don't know, but I'm not a psychic. I'm a reader.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a hint. No doubt.
Oh, gosh.
Right.
I could have got that with context.
All right. Great to meet you. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
This is the original It Is 99X.